this morning, Nigerians concurring corruption, cites June 1st of the Punch newspaper. Alleges Nigerian Governors Forum calls for Obasanjo Ibiala's resignation. Page 2 of the Punch newspaper.
The Daily, every day on Core TV News.
Welcome back on the program. Well, on the dailies this morning, I have here the Vanguard newspaper, The Guardian, The Punch, and our last point of call is the Nation newspaper. Interesting stories on the program on the front page of the dailies this morning. I'm not here alone. I'm being joined by a legal practitioner, Lawrence Nnoli. Many thanks for joining us on the program this morning. We hope we have a very fruitful deliberations on the dailies.
Thank you.
We'll get started with the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. The big story here says Obasanjo's letter a destruction. Federal government, they're talking, and says FD respects Obasanjo's view. No ulterior motive. Buhari government has not failed. Nigeria making steady progress. And this is coming from the federal government of Nigeria. And we have yet 10 things Buhari's government has achieved. Very listed here: performed in agriculture, provision of infrastructure, foreign reserves have peaked at $40 billion US. Inflation down for 11 consecutive months, and saved 24.7 billion naira monthly via TSA, that is the Treasury single account, and many more there as will be explained on the program this morning. And here you have it: the Federal Executive Council meeting, Minister of State, Foreign Affairs, Elijah Khadija Abba Ibrahim, admiring the Buhari Osinbajo 2019 presidential campaign calmed down by the Minister of Communication, Alhaji Adebayo Shitu, while Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Dambazao looks on before the opening of the Federal Executive Council meeting at the State House yesterday. Despite any form of letter, and there you have it. Yeah, the cap that's Alhaji Adebayo Shitu wearing there, carrying Osinbajo, that's Buhari Osinbajo 2019 presidential campaign. More stories there on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Plots to remove Saraki takings as governors and ministers. Minister 4 senators meet. Courts convicts 2 Nigerians for recruiting terrorists. And on the masthead we have here SGL Babachir Lawal detained by EFCC. And the Mayfellow sees $60 billion US external reserves by 2019. Obasanjo's letter, more reactions as 2019 campaign materials surface at FEC meeting, despite Obasanjo's letter. Mr. Nnoli, what's your take on this? When you saw that letter, what was your own reaction?
President Obasanjo was just stating the obvious. That was my reaction.
The obvious in what sense?
The obvious in terms of the performance of this present government. Talking about the economy. You know, they always bandy us with numbers and all that. But how do these numbers affect the common man in Nigeria? Talking about unemployment, it has been the highest so far that this nation has witnessed. For the first time in the history of this country, Nigerians are living in their roofs for anywhere.
Did you see some of the achievements of this present administration?
Of course, they have not done, you won't say they have not done anything, they have done some things. But the question is, what they have done, is it good enough for the nation? You know, they talk about economy still. How much were we buying fuel before they came in? How much are we buying today? Even at the price we are buying today, we are having long queues at the filling stations. How much was $1 before they came in? How much is $1 today? And these are the things.
Did you remember there was a time where we had this is still lingering at the moment, the fall in the oil price?
Yes.
What do you make of that vis-a-vis the challenges Nigerians are facing at the moment?
You know, it's pathetic. When we had the price of crude oil going below $30, they were complaining. Oh, that they cannot be able to do some of the things they promised us because of the fall of the price of crude oil at the international markets. And now today, the price of oil is about $70 per barrel, and they are complaining. For me, I don't think they are showing they are showing Nigerians good faith. They have not been able to show good leadership.
Okay, some of the achievements of this administration here states in the reaction yesterday states. Let me just bring one or two and just oppose it with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Foreign reserves have peaked at 40 billion US dollar.
Yes.
And inflation down for 11 consecutive months.
Yes.
These are some of the achievements there that you can also see on the screen. And increased power generation to 7,000 megawatts. So what can you say concerning this vis-a-vis the reality on the ground?
Well, for power generation and transmission, I will give it to them. They have tried. But we are still...
Is it that you have stable power supply in your area or where you live?
It's not as stable as we would like it to be.
But it's better.
But it's better than before. But that is just one out of myriads of Nigeria's problems.
Did you see Obasanjo's letter?
Yes.
You read the letter?
Yes.
Now, out of all what he gave, there are some issues that he gave praises to this administration. What do you make of those? The issue of anti-corruption fights and the insurgency.
The insurgency, I think I will give it to Buhari. He has, to a very great extent, done something. Yes. But then, the issue of nepotism, the issue of the rule of law. How has Buhari fared in showing Nigerians that he's the father of all? Look at the Benue killings. What has he done?
Are you saying he hasn't done anything?
He has not.
So what else do you expect from the president?
The first thing he should have done was to show enough concern.
In what sense?
At least, go down to Benue. More than 70 people were killed. If this had happened in US, what would Donald Trump have done?
But if the residents in Benue see this wrong, they will not go to the seat of power to visit the president.
And that is, for me, I think it's laughable. When the bereaved, who are supposed to be in their houses, money, they are dead, and expecting visitors to come and, commiserate with them, is now the one going to Aso Rock. Something is wrong. It does not show enough sensitivity.
Let's move on now. More stories on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Government takes Obasanjo's warning in good faith. There you have it. The big story on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Fayose cautions on analog expired leaders. And Southeast senators hail indictment of Buhari's regime. And there you have it. Atiku visits Ekiti to boost a presidential bid in 2019. And Southern Middle Belt groups meet in Enugu and reject cattle colonies. And how bank workers syndicate use stolen SIM cards to steal millions from customers' accounts. And tank farm explodes in Lagos State. And then MPC workers reject DJ's reappointments. EU World Bank earmark 60 billion naira for resettlement projects in Borno. SDF holds a display of campaign materials at FEC meeting. All this on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Quick one here. Fayose cautions on analog expired leaders. Who are the set of people that Fayose? You saw him yesterday giving out a serious warning. What's your take on this? You're smiling.
I'm smiling because every one of us knows Fayoshe, the way he talks and all that. And then maybe he's the best person to be asked who are the analog leaders. But if he asked me, what do I make of that? I think he was referring specifically to President Obasanjo, and then of course also to President Buhari. And the point is this: in Nigeria of today, the permit me to say that the elders are not grooming the young ones to take over from them. How old was President Obasanjo when he became the second in command to Murtala Mohammed? How old was President Buhari when he became the Minister of Petroleum then, in the 70s? And they still want to be relevant, and they still want to be in power.
So whose fault is this?
Well, I would say the fault cannot be limited to the young, to the youth. The fault is to be shared between the youth and the elders.
Can you expatiate more on that, please?
Well, the point is, unless the youth are given opportunity to lead, it will always be very difficult for them to find themselves in positions of authority. Yes.
Okay. We'll move on now to the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. The big story here says FG replies, Obasanjo says economy getting better. Page 9 there of the Punch newspaper. We remain best option, says APC. Obasanjo writes on nepotism in Buhari's government. And there you have it, vendors selling Chief Olusegun Obasanjo's letter to President Muhammadu Buhari on Shehu Shagari Way in Abuja. And there you have it, vendors now selling. So exactly are we going in the country when you see vendors selling the epistle of the former president Olusegun Obasanjo? Is this not another comic relief?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. For vendors to sell, that means people are willing to buy, and people are buying. And that.
Do you have a copy?
At least I have in my phone.
Okay.
I have the full letter. I may not have it in hard copy, but I have it with me. And.
But this is not the first time former president Olusegun Obasanjo will be writing letters.
But this is the first time people are selling it and people are buying it. And this is the first time almost everybody has known about it and has read about it.
Did you think this is another form, because ahead of the 2019 election, to just gain political gains in all this?
You see, the point is that however you see it, people always read political meanings into it. What Obasanjo wrote, is it what is obtainable in Nigeria? Forget about 2019. That is the point. People always read political meanings into issues of development.
Okay, now let's move on. Now, more stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. No work, no pay. Oyo tells striking workers. Page 22 there of the Punch newspaper. INEC ends voter registration December. So if you're yet to be registered, go to the nearest polling unit and get registered there. Page 69 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Reps seek a ban on importation of fish. You get details of that on page 69 of the Punch newspaper. As ex-VP Atiku Fayoshe meets in Ekiti Lambest of Buhari. A man kills a businessman after collecting 2 million naira for property. Pages 4 and 5 there of the Punch newspaper. Suspected herdsmen kill 6, torch houses in Plateau. This is quite pathetic. Let's move on now to the masthead of the Punch newspaper. EFCC detains a former SGF Babachir Lawal. Is this a coincidence or what do you make of this? Just barely 24 hours, Olusegun Obasanjo wrote that letter to President Muhammadu Buhari. The EFCC there detains former SGF David Babachelawa. What do you make of that? Because these are one of the issues raised by former President Olusegun Obasanjo.
Yes. Well, it may not be a coincidence, but then it has given credence to that letter that Obasanjo wrote.
Is that your own interpretation of that, of what is happening at the moment?
The point is this: was this not supposed to have come up before now? It was supposed to have come up before now. But on the good side of it, at least it has shown us that President Buhari is willing to act on the letter and to make amends.
Because they said we are taking it in good faith with what they've written. That's the former president has written.
Yes.
Okay, now more stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Lassa fever hits, emo kills 37 quarantined. Okay, page 7 there of the Punch newspaper. We're still in court with Wando. Audit continues. This is coming from SEC. Last point of call this morning is the Nation newspaper, and the big story here says Buhari to Obasanjo, you are wrong on my scorecard. And 2019 comments a destruction. And some of the achievements here from foreign reserves, $40 billion up from 24 billion US dollar, the highest in 4 years. And also we have inflation down for 11 months. Okay, 24.7 billion naira saved monthly from TSA, 1.8 billion US dollar capital inflows in second quarter 2017. Stock markets, one of the best performing in the world, with 40% returns. Rice imports drops from 644,000 metric tons to 22,000 metric tons in 2 years. And we have 5.2 million primary school pupils fed free in 28,249 schools in 19 states. And these are some of the achievements that there of this present administration. Let's move on to the masthead here. We have 20 billion naira Ubek fraud, and EFCC seizes 5 houses from contractor. And EFCC detains ex-SGF Lawal after 8 hours grilling. Lassa fever kills 16 in 10 states. CBN may cut interest rates before July. 2 tankers burns in Lagos field tank farm fire. You can get details of that. And the picture story on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. And your government's labor battle over no work, no pay. Turkish club Galatasaray targets Musa, and Bill Gates to pay Nigeria's 76 million US dollar polio debts, and government kill 4 inquiry community. Page 40 there of the Nation newspaper. Quick one. Lassa fever kills 16 in 10 states. What's your take on this?
Well, I think it has shown the level of preparedness of the government, especially the Ministry of Health, in tackling medical emergencies. Probably they didn't even know until they started killing people. So my take is this: the government should wake up.
To be more proactive, is that what you're saying?
They should be able to foresee stuffs before they happen. They are always on the reactive mode. They are not proactive. So and then another I will also, when you're talking about the Ministry of Health, you're talking about not just the federal government but also the state government.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and that's how much you can take on the dailies this morning. Now, legal practitioner Lawrence Nnoli, many thanks for coming on the program this morning.
Thank you very much.
We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at Obasanjo's epistle to PMB, the reactions, and I'll be joined by my guest on the program this morning. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
On the daily says this morning, Nigerians encourage corruption, cites University of the Punch newspaper.
David Mark says it's been a journey.
Amendments Nigerian Governors Forum calls for Obasanjo
Man
resignation.
says new PDP.
Page 2 of the Punch newspaper.
The Dailies, every day on Core TV News.